Hey gang, welcome back for another Baker Built Sexy Time Tip of the Week. Today's video is going to be about ankle mobility, and I'm going to show you guys two different stretches you can do for your ankles that will really help to open up not just the tissues in your feet, but the ankles themselves, as well as some of the calf and Achilles tissues as well. The first stretch is one you can do, and these are, again, little to no equipment required. You can do these at home or anywhere really. And best done though in bare feet. You don't want to really have shoes on because the shoes don't allow as much range as you would want to try and get with these. The first one is where you're going to be sitting back on your heels, toes curled under, so if you can see my feet right there. I'm going to tuck my toes under and then I'm going to sit back like so. Now, when I'm setting up for this, it's important to note a few limitations you might have. One, tight quads for a lot of people tends to prevent them from sitting all the way back on their heels. Mine are sometimes quite tight, and so I can't really sit back all the way. What that then happens is that I can't really focus too much on the position where I want my feet to be in. I have to worry about the tension in my quads, the hips, not being able to sit properly. So what you can do is take a little pillow, like this is a nice meditation pillow that I have right here. What I often will do is tuck it right there and then I can sit back, and then that takes the strain off of my quads and my knees. I'm then able to focus on what my ankles and my feet are doing. Once I'm in this position, I want to make sure I'm pushing my heels together. When I first started doing this particular stretch, the mobility in my ankles was so bad from all the years of playing soccer and rolling my ankles over and over again that I couldn't actually get my heels to touch in this position. They wanted to move outwards every time I did it. Now I've gotten to the point where I can actually hold them together, so I've seen some progress there. But just so you guys know, that may be a difficulty that you have as well. So heels together, heels should be touching, and then you will most likely feel it right in the sole of the foot. And I usually feel it too right at the base of my Achilles heel, right up top here, and a little bit into the calves. And that's perfect. That's going to give you some even more benefit with stretching those tissues as well, because for people who, especially runners, but anybody who, runs, jumps, whatever you usually do that uses a lot of ankle power, this is huge for you. So when I'm here, I usually will sit in this for a couple of minutes. It doesn't take too long to really gain some benefit from it, but what you want is regularity. So you want to have some frequency with how often you do this to keep the tissues moving in a looser fashion, to get them to open up more and have that be their normal range of motion. You only do this once in a while, you're going to stretch the tissues, but then they're going to want to go back to their normal state. So you won't see as much benefit with this. And then, so I'm spending a couple of minutes here. Over time, I'll be able to get a little more comfortable, and eventually I probably will even be able to take away the pillow because my quads will loosen up as well. They'll be more used to this position, the compression in the knees. So that's the first stretch. The second one is the opposite direction. So that was, ankle flexion. This is ankle extension. This is a tough one for me. My ankles are pretty darn tight, so I can't even really, you can see, I can't even really get my ankles to get flush on the floor there. Something I'm working on, but again, a lot of years of soccer, a lot of poor mobility in the ankles because of it. Again, for those of us with that sort of difficulty, it can be difficult to focus on the stretch because of what's going on through the rest of the legs. So tucking that pillow under you can really help. Again, you want to try and keep the heels together and just sit in this position here. Kind of sit up straight, don't slouch. You want to have the back nice and flat, pulling the hips back and kind of tilting the pelvis forward, and then just sort of hanging out and focus on what those tissues in your ankles and your feet are doing. See where you feel it tight, like really tight, the most restricted. And then over a minute or two in this position, what changes? Do things start to open up? Does the sensation move at all? That'll sort of clue you into where the tight spots are, and so then if you're rolling your feet out with a lacrosse ball or something like that, you know exactly where you need to go to focus because you've already sort of felt ahead of time where the stretch felt the most intense. So again, 1 to 2 minutes in this position as well. If you don't have the ability to sit in it for very long, that's fine. Start with, 15, 30 seconds, whatever you're capable of doing, and then build over time. This is a particular stretch where to do too much too soon can have some really bad implications as far as injury, and then needing longer time to recover before you can come back and do it again. So a little up front and then building over time will get you way further than trying to do too much straight away. You can always do more tomorrow, but you can't do less after you've done too much the day before. All right, guys, try that out and see how it feels, and then let me know. I'll see you guys next time.